The meeting just ended. That junior analyst is packing up their laptop, a look of serene satisfaction on their face. They just spent 20 minutes presenting a new market strategy, a house of cards built on shaky data and wild assumptions. When the senior lead gently pointed out the flawed methodology, the analyst brushed it off. "You're overthinking it," they said. "The core insight is solid." You walk back to your desk, that familiar, simmering frustration in your gut. You've met this person before, the overconfident amateur, the one who doesn't know enough to know they're wrong. You assume it's arrogance, a personality flaw, a choice to ignore the experts in the room, but you're wrong. What you just witnessed wasn't a character defect. It was a cognitive blind spot, a bug in the human operating system. That analyst isn't lying. They aren't being deliberately obtuse. They are, in a very real sense, incapable of seeing their own incompetence. Their lack of skill in that domain has robbed them of the tools needed to measure that very lack. They don't know what they don't know, and they don't know that they don't know it. This has a name. In 1999, two social psychologists at Cornell, David Dunning and Dunning-Kruger, designed a series of elegant, brutal experiments. They tested people on logical reasoning, grammar, even humor. Then they asked them to estimate how well they did. The results were staggering. The people who performed the worst, the bottom quarter, wildly overestimated their abilities. They'd score in the 12th percentile but believe they'd performed better than 60% of the group. But here's the twist, the real engine of the trap. Those same poor performers were also terrible at recognizing competence in others. They'd look at the answers from the top performers and rate them no better than their own. This is the double curse. You're unskilled. And that same lack of skill destroys your ability to accurately judge skill in yourself or in anyone else. Your meter is broken and you have no way of knowing the needle is stuck. It's a metacognitive failure, a flaw in thinking about your own thinking. And while you're sitting there frustrated with the analyst, this same mechanism is running in the background of your own mind, right now, in areas where you are the amateur. The most competent people in those Cornell studies, they showed a different bias. They slightly underestimated themselves. They assumed that because the tasks felt easy to them, they must be easy for everyone. The gap between what you know and what you think you know isn't just about ego. It's a measurable chasm, and which side of it you're on depends entirely on where you're standing. So you understand the trap, the double curse. You're bad at something and that badness hides itself from you. Fine, now you need to see where it lives. Not in a lab, in your world. This isn't a psychology trivia question. It's the reason your uncle ruined the family car trying to change the transmission. It's the reason that guy online is so utterly, poetically sure about geopolitics. It's in the doctor's office. In one study, medical students who scored the lowest on a diagnostic test were the most confident in their wrong answers. They weren't stupid, they were cursed. Their lack of knowledge blinded them to their lack of knowledge. They couldn't see the gaps in their own reasoning. Think about that next time you're reading comments. The most strident, confident voice in the argument, there's a good chance it's operating from the shallow end of the pool. They don't know enough to know how much they don't know. It's the internet expert phenomenon. A little information is a dangerous thing, but absolute confidence with a little information is a pandemic. And it's in your wallet. Investors with the poorest understanding of market principles often show the highest confidence in their stock picks. They're not playing the market. The market is playing them, and they're smiling all the way to the poorhouse. Ever met someone who's a genuinely terrible driver but swears they're excellent? Of course you have. Surveys consistently show 80–90% of people think they're above average behind the wheel. A statistical impossibility, a mass delusion. That's not just funny. It's the Dunning-Kruger Effect running in the background of millions of tons of speeding metal. Here's the scary part. This can happen to anyone. Take an expert, a true expert in their field. Put them in a novel area that's just adjacent to their expertise. For a little while, their confidence spikes. Their brain borrows confidence from the old domain and spends it in the new one. They've just been infected. They don't know the new rules, but they feel like they do. Now the cost. This is where it stops being amusing and starts being dangerous. Career stagnation. If you're convinced you're already great at your job, you don't seek training. You don't ask for feedback. You plateau hard and early, and you never see it coming. Financial loss. that bad DIY repair, that sure thing investment. The overconfidence tax is a real bill, and it always comes due. Relationship erosion. Ever dealt with someone who is a terrible listener but thinks they're a fantastic communicator? That's the double curse poisoning a relationship. They can't see their own toxic behavior, so they can't fix it. They just blame you. And on the largest scale, public health. Resistance to vaccines, to climate science, to proven medical advice. It's often fueled by this dynamic. People with a shallow understanding feel equipped to dismiss deep expertise. They can't perceive the depth of what they're dismissing. The damage is real. It's quantifiable. It's in the room with you. So what do? You build a toolkit. First, for spotting it in others. Don't argue. That just makes them dig in. Use the explain it simply test. Ask them to walk you through their reasoning, step by slow step. Ask them to define their terms. The gaps will show up. The shaky foundation reveals itself. They'll tie themselves in knots. You won't have to say a thing. Now, for you. This is the hard part. You have to assume the curse is already operating in you, right now, in some area of your life you care about. Your ego will hate this. Do it anyway. Actively seek negative feedback. Don't ask your friend, how was my presentation? They'll say, fine. Ask them, what's one thing I got wrong or could have done better? Demand the critique. Make it safe for them to give it. Thank them for it. That feedback is a map of your blind spot. The gold standard is deliberate practice with expert correction. You need someone who can see what you can't. A coach, a mentor, a brutally honest colleague. True skill isn't just practice. It's practice while someone better than you points out your errors. Every time. There's a reason the best forecasters in the world, like meteorologists, go through calibration training. They learn to assign precise probabilities. There's a 60% chance. Not, it might rain. This trains the metacognitive muscle, the ability to know what you know. You can do this. Start with a mantra, beginner's mind. In any new domain, consciously assume you have blind spots. Assume you're overconfident. It's the only safe assumption. And here's the beautiful, humbling twist. The cure for the Dunning-Kruger effect is competence. Real, hard-won skill. In those original studies, when they took the low performers and actually taught them the skills they lacked, something happened. Their overconfidence deflated. As their real ability went up, their inflated self-assessment came down. They saw the landscape for the first time, and it was vast. The goal isn't to feel worse about yourself. It's to see yourself clearly. The confidence that comes after that, that's the kind you can trust. So look back at that meeting, that junior colleague packing up their laptop, radiating that serene, unshakable confidence. At the start, you saw a type, an arrogant amateur, an outlier, an irritation to be managed. You don't see that person anymore. You see a symptom. You see someone caught in the double curse, utterly unaware of the vast landscape of skill stretching out beyond their perception. They're not a fool. They're in the first stage of learning, and they don't even know there's a second. Your frustration transforms. It becomes recognition, a shared human condition. Because the trap isn't just for them. The lens you now hold up to the world, you must turn on yourself. Right now, in what area of your life are you that person? Where is your confidence built on a foundation you've never bothered to inspect? It's there. I promise you, it's there. The Dunning-Kruger Effect teaches a profound and uncomfortable humility. True wisdom isn't just about the things you know. It's about knowing the precise boundaries of your knowledge. It's about mapping the edges of your own competence. And more importantly, your incompetence. The path to real skill, to genuine confidence you can trust, begins with that ugly, necessary admission. I don't know what I don't know. Say it out loud. It feels like weakness. It's the only true strength you have in this fight. This is your new lens. When you see that strident political commentator, that bullish investor, that coworker explaining something they clearly don't understand, you won't just see arrogance. You'll see the blind spot. You'll see the curse in action, and you'll make a choice. Not to dismiss them, but to check your own meter. Because the most dangerous ignorance has always been the kind you carry with you, comfortably, never suspecting its weight. The goal was never to make you feel small. It was to make your vision clear. That quiet confidence that comes after you've stared at your own blind spots, that's the confidence that lasts. That's the confidence that learns. So carry this lens. Use it. The world is full of people who don't know what they don't know. Make sure you're not one of them. The most dangerous place to be is on the peak of Mount Stupid, thinking you're on a mountain of mastery. The first step down is always a step towards something real.